Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. It's an absolutely fabulous day today. We're out on our morning walk. So I was thinking about, how when we're children, we're so open and loving to the world around us, and how that changes when we get older. And then we get taught to think separately from others, and we start getting divided from others and getting taught to be competitive and challenging towards others. And it seems so unnatural to talk about these things, like it's a taboo or something. It's like it's almost expected of you, and if you don't do it, there's something wrong with you. Which leads to things like people become unhappy and getting addictions and greedy and end up fighting and wars and all sorts happening because of this competitive, challenging behaviours that people seem to adopt. But that child, that kid's always within us. If we just look, take time to look, it's just been sort of clouded over by all the rubbish that we have to deal with. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that we're scared. We're scared to talk about it. We're scared of our own opinions. We're scared of our own self-worth and our own credentials and talents, and how we shape up in comparison to everybody else. So we just try to fit in and get along and not upset the sort of status quo, which is a shame. And then we sort of go into these mindsets of, if we achieve something, after we achieve it, we think, well, was that the right thing that we should have achieved? Or should I go after something different now? Or, is this the right job? Should I be going after something different? Should I be going after a different career? We always seem to be so confused about our goals and our relationships. If we're not careful, we end up always in this sort of state of comparison with one another. All the time, this person's got that, but I don't have it. Or this person has this achievement and I've not achieved that. And it causes a lot of anxiety and insecurities within us. And we can be afraid of failure and also afraid of success. It can work both ways. Afraid we won't be liked, or that afraid we will be liked. And it's funny to think of being afraid of success and afraid to be liked. But in a way, it makes sense, because if you're liked, then you have to sort of live up to a certain expectation of why that person likes you. Or if you're in a certain job, you have to live up to a certain expectation. So everything kind of becomes about expectations that we place upon ourselves. And so many, fears that no matter which way the outcome arrives, it never seems to satisfy. There's always a deeper yearning. We seem to be afraid of life in general, and afraid to live life, just get stuck into life. We can be so hard on ourselves and others, blaming others for our self-esteem issues. If that person was different or treated me in a certain way, everything would be fine. Or if I could just get that one thing, I'd be okay. We're constantly searching for ways out of this sort of merry-go-round that we've found ourselves in. Then that in itself can turn into a sort of controlling or an obsessive type of behaviours. And then not only do we attack others, but we attack ourselves. And that can be very harmful. That sort of emotional energy has to go somewhere. That feeling of dissatisfaction. And if we express it fully, then it's going to go outwards. But if we suppress it, we're going to internalize it and attack ourselves. And then if we're always constantly attacking ourselves, then that starts a pattern of negative thinking, which keeps us in a sort of a negative thinking loop, which just makes things a lot worse. But when we can learn to see these patterns and acknowledge these things within us, that's when we can change it and make things better for ourselves. You know, acknowledgement is the first step to healing and changing, and listening to that voice inside and seeing the thoughts that hinder us, you know, changing our own perception of how we think about ourselves. And then that leads to how we think about others. You know, humbling ourselves enough to look in a way we have to kind of crack our own heads open a bit, which can be challenging in itself, metaphorically speaking, of course. And you know, if we can stop resisting that sort of inner looking, stopping the endless thinking and the searching and the needing and the wanting. And I know it sounds cliche, but when we really do start to love ourselves, honor ourselves, then we bring that out into the world, and it really does create a change. You know, when we're loving life, we become more peaceful within ourselves and towards other people. When we think without love, life becomes very difficult. We're always fighting and resisting everything. You know, and everyone claims that they want it. Everyone claims that that's what they want more than anything, is to love and be loved. But the truth of the matter is, it's the one thing, if we really look, that we fear the most. We fear it because we feel that we're not worthy of it, or that if we get it, we can't hold on to it. But when we open up to love, then we lose that fear of losing it. Opening up is the way to getting rid of that fear, you know, and bringing that sense of wonder back into your life again, and not letting your innocence be taken away, to hold on to that sense of wonder and innocence that we have, resetting yourself again, just to look at yourself and your world and the people around you in a different way again. You know, it's a very beautiful thing, and it's a very healthy thing. So I'm going to go and get a nice coffee and enjoy this beautiful morning. And until next time, from me and my girl, take care.